the Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA.
For 5 years, basketball fans have witnessed one of the sport's greatest rivalries. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Both were high school stars who chose different paths. Clark went to Iowa, while Bueckers joined UConn. In college, Clark often had the upper hand, especially in the NCAA tournament. Some, like Gino Arima, questioned whether her game would translate to the WNBA last night. The two met for the first time as professionals when the Indiana Fever faced the Dallas Wings. But what happened was more than just a game. It was Clark once again making history in a way no other player has. Two teenage basketball sensations began capturing national attention, setting the stage for a rivalry that would define a generation. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers first crossed paths in high school, each emerging as top recruits with distinct styles and personalities. Clark became known for her dynamic scoring, precision passing, and long-range shooting, while Bueckers earned praise for her smooth, efficient game, a polished mid-range shot, and court vision that matched Clark's brilliance.
Hey, Caitlin. You've known Paige since middle school, AAU. You guys were on the U19 World Cup team together. Is there anything that maybe stood out then about her, whether it be on or off the court, that maybe still reigns true today?
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU. She's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's just she just plays way older than she is. She's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all three levels. And that's how she's always played. And that's obviously translated really well.
Their college careers followed very different paths. Paige Bueckers joined the historic UConn program under Gino Arima, stepping into a dynasty known for winning championships. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, chose Iowa team determined to make its mark on the national stage. This decision set the foundation for legendary NCAA tournament showdowns that would shape both players' legacies. Clark's Iowa squad ended Bueckers' championship hopes in March Madness, with Clark delivering massive performances when it counted most, including a stunning 41-point game that eliminated the Huskies. Clark came out on top in 2 of their 3 college matchups, fueling a rivalry that quickly became larger than the game itself, drawing fans and analysts into passionate debates.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
Gino Arima had pointed critiques of Clark's playing style. He questioned her shot selection and expressed doubts about how her game would transition to the WNBA, especially when compared to his own star, Paige Bueckers. In Arima's view, Bueckers' polished fundamentals made her better suited for the professional level. The contrast between Clark's explosive scoring and Bueckers' smooth, efficient approach highlighted 2 distinct visions of basketball greatness. Both players eventually declared for the WNBA, leaving fans eager to see when they would finally meet on the professional stage. With Clark holding a 2-1 edge from their college battles, all eyes turned to their first WNBA showdown. But this time, Clark faced new questions about how her game would hold up at the pro level. The anticipation was enormous. ABC broadcast the game nationwide, recognizing it as a must-watch event for basketball fans across the country. For Clark, who had recently faced challenges adjusting with the Indiana Fever, this matchup carried even more weight. Her reputation was on the line.
Talking to our player development coach yesterday, and he was just sent me a few things of even Steph going through a slump. I think he was 27 for his last 70 or something like that. The best in the world go through it, and I think that's where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is I know how hard I've worked, so this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I made.
But this is where the story took a dramatic turn. Clark's Indiana Fever were struggling badly in the lead-up to this highly anticipated matchup. They had just suffered back-to-back losses to teams they were expected to beat, the LA Sparks and the Golden State These weren't championship contenders. They were teams the Fever should have comfortably outplayed. The unexpected defeats left fans frustrated and questioning whether the Fever were ready for a spotlight game of this magnitude.
I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together. And then we go on the road and, we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Stars coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So in that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us. And I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing.
Behind the scenes, quiet but serious conflict was unfolding between Caitlin Clark's fast-paced style and coach Stephanie White's more methodical approach. Clark wanted to speed up the game, pushing the tempo and creating transition opportunities, while White favored a controlled half-court system. This difference in basketball philosophy sparked real tension within the organization. Clark excelled in an open, fast-moving game, but White's strategy limited her ability to play that way. The situation reached a breaking point during a game against the Atlanta Dream, when cameras captured a heated sideline exchange between the two. Their intense discussion made it clear just how deep the disagreement had become.
There is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the 3rd situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before halftime.
Lineup changes only made the situation harder. Clark was coming back from an injury and trying to rediscover her rhythm, while Dewana Bonner had just returned from national team duty, further disrupting team chemistry. The Fever struggled to establish consistent rotations and offensive flow, with players still adjusting to shifting roles. Offensive breakdowns became routine, missed shots piled up, turnovers erased, scoring chances, and the fast break opportunities Clark usually thrived on were nowhere to be found. Clark openly admitted the team's inconsistency, saying, "We play one good game, then follow it with a bad one, then another good game, and then another bad one." Her personal shooting slump added to the concern, though she stayed positive, saying, "I'm never going to stop shooting," drawing a comparison to Steph Curry's occasional cold spells. The frustration peaked when the Fever finally broke their losing streak with a win over Atlanta, but even after the victory, the tension between Clark and Coach White lingered. The deeper issues weren't solved, they were just temporarily set aside.
It can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then I look at the box and it's like, I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence. And I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know. And I'm still confident in everything that I can.
The game against Dallas became the ultimate test. Would Coach White finally embrace Clark's fast-paced style, or would the philosophical divide continue to limit the team's potential? This internal conflict set the stage for a high-stakes showdown with Bueckers. As Clark was eager to prove her style of play could succeed at the professional level, then, something unexpected happened. Stephanie White made a pivotal decision. She gave Clark exactly what she had been asking for. In this game, White allowed Clark to control the tempo and run the offense on her terms. This wasn't just a minor tweak, it was a complete shift in approach. For the first time, Clark had the freedom to lead the team at the pace she believed in.
Lee Rue the other night had a season-high 18 points. Here's Boston turning the corner. Dishing to Hull. Extra feed Clark. A deep 3. You bet! And he actually brought up stat from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well. Right on the money to Mitchell.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark, the rejection of Quinterly. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown feed. Here's Clark being hawked by Isaiah James. Clark, sidestepping 3, is good. Clark, backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away, and dropping it in. Beautiful. Here's Clark off the screen, through the lane, feeds Howard. Another assist for Clark. That's 13, as Howard is up to 18 points. And he actually brought up stat from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well. Right on the money to Mitchell. A tenacious start from Caitlin Clark. Here's Agumbawale. Off on a 3. Long rebound. Mitchell. You're not going to catch her. Kelsey Mitchell in for two. They elevate each other because of how hard they compete. Nice look, Aaliyah Boston with a gorgeous dime to Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell bounces, Boston, one more time. This time Mitchell delivering, and Boston up to 13 points. Indiana shooting 66%. Cunningham the rebound. Cunningham swiftly up the floor, finds Howard for two. Sophie Cunningham making a huge impact off the bench, and Dallas will take a timeout.
In this lineup, Natasha Howard is the quickest post player.
Good dub. 2 in a row. 2 more to All-Star. Let's go. Woo!
W. Oh, Fever Dogs, you already know what's coming. Bow, bow, bow! On to the next. Hell yeah! Can you use that one? Let's go, baby. Give me the Christmas. W. Now we gotta go get another one.
Inbounds. Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away and dropping it in. Beautiful mid-range fadeaway from Caitlin Clark.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark, the rejection of Quinterly. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown Fever.
Sophie Cunningham runs the route and puts her hand up in the air, gives Caitlin Clark the target. Barely over the fingertips of Hines Allen. Beautiful, beautiful pass. Catch, in stride, finish. Beautiful basketball.
I feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen this style of basketball, the style of basketball that we all know and love from the Indiana Fever, but we have only really seen it in short spurts. There have been so many games and so many times throughout this season where it feels like the Fever system is a slow-down basketball type of system. Their offense wasn't running smoothly, but in this game, they were playing quick. They were moving the ball around. They had so many points off of the fast break.